Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jaocb Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel and the Dragon Suplex Podcasting Network. It was a big weekend here in America, of course. The 4th of July, our Independence Day for some, but it just kind of represents a good patriotic day. Of course, there was a shooting in Illinois that kind of put a damper on the whole day. It kind of hurt our pride when we were supposed to be the most prideful. So if you find in your heart to kind of give to some kind of relief fund that helps those people out who might have lost a loved one on the 4th, please do so. But here we're, a wrestling show. We're trying to be positive here. The 4th of July is everywhere, of course. So, maybe everyone had a good time enjoying the hot dog eating contest. I think the people that put this event together did a really good job selling me on the whole league for the first time. Of course, we know who Joey Chestnut is, the American icon, 15-time national hot dog eating champion, or international hot dog eating champion. And then, wrestling fans know Megabyte Ronnie, who appeared on AEW Dark during the pandemic. He was, on the lineup eating competitively. Eater X from the famous MTV True Life show went into the Hall of Fame. The rapping hot dog eater, we know and we love him, Eric Booker, did something that I hadn't seen before, at least, a lemonade chug. So a fan favorite for a lot of years picks up the equivalent, in my opinion, to the Intercontinental title, chugging lemonade right before the big hot dog eating contest. So he gets the victory there. He had never gotten a victory on the hot dog eating contest, so here he is finally getting, his roses before he retires. Eater X getting his roses. I mean, I've been watching this shit for 20 years now. So I do know who these people are, and I feel like a lot of people in America would know who these people are. At least they know, the big rapping guy who eats the hot dogs. They know the guy who paints his face. And we're getting to see a little bit more of their personalities. For one day a year, I think you could manage to make them a household name. They also did a little video package on the women's champion, who gets her title back after the upset from last year, and is married to like a bit of a mid-carder male division participant. But then, of course, Joey Chestnut, their John Cena, at the time that the event started, 14-time champion, comes out in crutches. So people are worried about him. He's an injury angle, so to speak. Has to put an animal rights activist wearing a Darth Vader mask in a headlock mid-competition, still wins with 63 dogs, 9 short of his own record. But the real reason I mention this is because I thought this was a good example of how to build a brand. This was their WrestleMania on the 4th of July. This is their Super Bowl. And they put over, of course, their main guy, the world champion, Joey Chestnut, 15-time champion. They put him over huge with the injury angle and having to stop an animal rights protester in the middle of it. But they also had a Hall of Fame with Eater X. They, had a nice video package for, the women's champion, and developed a mid-card title with the Lemonade Chug. Perfect way to get some guys over here. And, I think they might have done a better job than UFC did the night before, or I guess July 2nd. You had Sean O'Malley, a guy I first heard about from a customer of mine who would come in to the brewery and talk about UFC. He watched every UFC, and he said, watch out for this guy, Sean O'Malley. And then before I know it, I'm seeing Sean O'Malley pop up on, hip-hop podcasts, comedians podcasts. He's 15-0-1. The one, of course, is some bullshit, and some bullshit happened here. Now he's 15-0-2. The guy said he kicked him in the dick. The guy said he poked him in the eye. They kept showing the replay. Crowd is booing. But we really didn't get to see a Sean O'Malley performance because this guy was bullshitting so hard. Volkanovski won handedly, but it was kind of a boring contest. He won so handedly. So I feel like those were two stars that people were paying to see, people were tuning in to see, and they kind of got, because they were so dominant, lackluster performances, and it really wasn't that entertaining. And some could say the same for Israel Sana's victory. The coolest part of Izzy's fight was the entrance, the Undertaker entrance that, of course, you guys have seen since then. Vince McMahon in the crowd, Pat McAfee sitting next to him, Stephanie Hunter. They get the spotlight. JR and Tony Khan don't get the spotlight. A lot of people say that AEW is a bunch of cosplaying wrestlers. Well, here is, the hottest fighter in the game cosplaying a wrestler. Kind of brings that insult, to a halt, I would feel like. And Izzy gets the victory. But while we're on the topic of the 4th of July, Independence Day, let's go into NXT Great American Bash. That's right, I watched NXT. Something about that WCW nostalgia pulls me in, which is why they do it. It did feel kind of weird because it was on the 5th. I know I'm talking to you guys, after the 4th of July, about a lot of stuff on the 4th of July, but a 4th of July theme show on the 5th, it's kind of like a Christmas theme show on like the 26th or 27th. It just, once Christmas is there, boom, stop it. All the radio stations stop playing Christmas music. Start taking down your tree. Let's get ready for New Year's. Let's get ready for something new, like the new year. The 5th of July, the 6th of July, 7th of July, no America-themed shows. They started out with a pool party intro, was cool. It's set apart from like other wrestling shows that I watch. It was, a cool little video package. Kind of felt like this shit should be on like TGIF back in the day or something. Tony D showing the others on his phone that he injured Santos. That was kind of funny. I like this Tony D guy. Pretty deadly. This has got to be a ripoff for the Young Bucks. I mean, I know that the Robbie E gimmick was definitely a ripoff mocking Tony Khan, but this has got to be mocking the Young Bucks a little bit here. Exemon coming soon. I hope I said that right. I don't think I did. Wagdog, Von Wagner, wanting to fight Solo Sakia. Hope I'm saying these names right. I don't really watch NXT, as you guys know. I tuned in to see the big fight feel. Throughout the whole show, they were hinting that Braun Breaker's shoulder was injured, and we're going to get to that fight a little later on because I ranked every single match from worst to first. Number 6, Trick Williams and Wes Lee. Lee without a tag team partner. Williams seen as just a mic guy, a lesser in-ring wrestler as the other guy in his two-man faction. Both men here have a lot to prove. Williams needed a lot of water in the early going, innovating the Larry landing here, basic bullshitting, runs around the ring, puts rubbing alcohol on his hands and rubs it in Wesley's eyes. Big boot, 1, 2, 3. Williams gets the victory. I thought this was pretty entertaining. Trick Williams entertaining me here, kind of being a jerk the whole match, but it wasn't as good as these other matches. But if you're trying to put over Trick Williams as a funny heel, you definitely did that here. Going into number 5, Cora Jade and Roxy Perez versus Toxic Attraction. I know Roxanne from ROH. I haven't seen her in NXT yet. It was cool to see her here. She made a hot tag to Cora Jade, clunky double team. Then they go for a pin. Mandy pulls the ref out, ends up getting kicked to the back. Shit goes down. Roxanne hits a code red. They call it the Pop Rocks. 1, 2, 3. We have new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, which in my mind, I don't watch NXT all the time. I don't even watch Raw and SmackDown all the time, but I think the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions should be held at a bigger deal now that they're the only tag champions within the whole company across all 3 brands. I think that if you're the women's tag champion in NXT, you should be able to go onto SmackDown, go onto Raw. I mean, fuck it. Go on to a main event or something and have a match and showcase that you're the women's champions of all of WWE. Number 4, Tiffany Stratton and Wendy Chu. I like both of these gimmicks. This match was good. Starting before the break, they were brawling backstage. I enjoyed this part in the picture-in-picture. Good use of the picture-in-picture here. Bell sounds. Tiffany rips off a nail of Wendy, then hits a corkscrew Vader bomb. 1, 2, 3. The picture-in-picture brawl put this match a little bit above those other two matches that I already mentioned. I thought it was creative, and I really like Tiffany Stratton ripping off that nail, kind of like a play on how like Zack Sabre Jr. and Pete Dunne do, just like pull at their fingers. But of course, this is a women's match. These ladies are out here trying to look marvelous, so ripping a nail is, kind of ruins her mystique. It's a good way to kind of add insult to injury there. Number 3, Grayson Waller versus Carmelo Hayes. This was kind of interesting. Trick Williams cheated to win earlier, but Hayes here was seen as the good guy here, hitting a springboard leg drop, winning with a top rope leg drop after a slick little strike battle. But Trick got attacked by Wes Lee in the middle of this match, so I think that they're going to continue to brawl. But I think something's going to happen here between Hayes and Trick Williams. They're good as a tag team, but how can one be a heel and one be a face on the same show? There's going to have to come to heads there. Creed Brothers versus Strong and Dama and Kemp. Both teams make up members of the same faction, Diamond Mine. Sick double teams, as always, is for the Creed Brothers. Brutus Ball is the dumbest high spot in wrestling. I mean, even the announcers say you're going to break your ankles, which it looks exactly like that's what's going to happen here. Then he hits a backflip. He does a backflip landing like he's a dog. I pop for that one. Creed Brothers win. But the big match, the big fight feel here, Braun Breaker versus Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, of course, started up the road from me. When I was in Greensboro. I'm in Durham now, but he was from actually Gibsonville. He helped run CWF Worldwide, a great YouTube show from a few years back. And, I've seen the kid, or I guess the guy, go to PWG, make waves. Then you saw him all over the indies. Then you saw him in Impact Wrestling. Now here he is in NXT. It's just really cool to see him here in what could probably arguably be the biggest match in his career, a world title match on USA Network. And he's super over in NXT here. The story with the shoulder came into play here as, he did the Roman Reigns thing. He couldn't lift the belt up with the hurt shoulder. He switched to the other arm and picked it up. But Braun Breaker insisted that there was nothing wrong with his shoulder throughout the whole show. Grimes, of course, going after the shoulder. Shoulder tackle using the other shoulder. Still playing into the shoulder. Frankensteiner, 1-2, Grimes kicks out. Cave-in, 1-2, Breaker kicks out. Spear out of midair, 1-2-3. Braun Breaker retains. Gets attacked by the ever-controversial former Jordan Devlin. I forget what they call him. J.D. McGowan or something like that. Jordan Devlin, great wrestler here. But unfortunately, he was caught up in the, I forget what they call it. And it has another name for wrestling, but it was pretty much the Me Too movement. And I think he's, got in trouble for a few things you can look up. But, they booed him in the crowd. I look up stuff on Twitter, and people on Twitter haven't forgotten about it. So these are going to be a good series of matches here. He's going to make Braun Breaker look really good because he's shorter in stature and he's a great wrestler. But it's going to be interesting to see how they play it. People have forgotten about other names that I don't want to bring up because, it seems like I don't want to be the shit talker here on the show. I'm just talking about wrestling. But this might be an interesting choice, an interesting development here to see how this feud is taken online and just right there in the crowd, because it only takes like 10 fans to boo and chant something that could ruin what you're trying to do on TV. It's a very small crowd, so we'll see where it goes here. But I think bell to bell, Braun Breaker is going to look really good going up against Jordan Devlin. Now let's jump to something I feel a little more comfortable talking about here, AEW Dynamite. Before I go into my overall ranking of all the matches, I'm going to give you guys my overall thoughts on what happened between the bells. Mox promo was solid. Luchasaurus and Christian come out. They get cut off by Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy calls Christian the Michael Jordan of being an asshole. I thought that line was awesome. Christian says that he's starting to think that, that Jeff Hardy was the sober one in this one because of Matt Hardy coming out for what's obviously going to be a beatdown later. That line got talked about a little bit. Of course, WWE played into Jeff Hardy's past and got, kind of shit on online for that. And now people aren't shitting on AEW for saying this line. But people are saying, like, hey, guys, why aren't you attacking AEW when WWE did the same thing? I think here the big difference is the unscripted promos. You know that Matt Hardy and Christian, people that know Jeff for a long, long time, over 20 years, probably reached out to Jeff to make sure it was okay. And it's not scripted. It's not like someone who barely knows Jeff, like a writer. Or, I don't know if Vince McMahon's really that close to Jeff, coming up with these lines and coming up with these angles. It's two people that Jeff is pretty close to. So that's a little bit of a difference there. But, it is kind of crazy to see them bring it up here after only a few weeks of it going down. Solid House of Black promo. Kingston comes out. Jericho pops up on the screen. Ty Conti slams Ruby Soho's hand in a car door. And then the Jericho Appreciation Society run off. Kingston goes to check on Soho. But Kingston still wants Jericho because Kingston did not get Jericho to tap out. Matt Menard tapped out from Claudio. So Kingston still wants a bit of Jericho. It looks like we're going to get some more Jericho Kingston. Sign me up. I'm ready for it. Team Taz come out after Swerve and Our Glory get the victory. Both members of Team Taz cut a great promo here that lead to the Bucks coming out. And the storyline here was, Ricky Starks was like, we're the best tag team. We're the best tag team. Then the Bucks music hits. And the real story of all this, though, is, the Bucks are cutting a promo as if they're supposed to be top dogs because they have the AEW title. But during the promo, the crowd start chanting FTR at the Bucks. You can tell Matt, who was speaking at the time, was a little shook. Nick had to jump on and save him a little bit. I knew that FTR, without a shadow of a doubt, were overshadowing the Jurassic Express when they were champions here. But here they're overshadowing the Young Bucks. They are super over right now, and why the fuck wouldn't they be over? They're the Ring of Honor champions, the AAA champions, and the IWGP Tag Team champions all at the same damn time. For fans of the history of wrestling and fans who watch multiple companies, that is a bigger deal than just being the AEW champions. Their lineage that they're holding goes back decades and decades, where the lineage that the Bucks are holding only go back a few years. And in the back of everyone's mind here, they know that they kind of started the company and that they have a little bit more say of who's going over. So I think that kind of hurts them in this aspect, because people know that the FTR, they don't have the pencil of any company, and here they are carrying around all that gold. So I know that they're pushing for Bucks, Swerve and Our Glory, and Team Taz. That's going to be a great match. But until we get Bucks versus FTR, I feel like these chants are going to get louder and louder, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Bucks play into it. They are heels here, but I feel like they want to be the cool heels, where it looks like, if it's going to be interesting to see how they play it. Moving on, Dark Order comes out with -1, says that these 6 are the Dark Order: Beaver Boys, Anna Jay, Tin, and Evil Uno. So, Stu Grayson and Alan Angels were fired, of course, or let go. Contract expired. And Cole Cabana here not coming out with the Dark Order as well. QT Marshall comes out and says, how long are we going to see this little kid pop up on our screen till he's 18? Huge pop for me. Hangman comes out, even bigger pop. Dark Order whoop QT's ass. -1 completely botches this line, but he is 10 years old. What can you do? It was in Rochester, Brody Lee's hometown, -1's hometown. Great Miro promo here. Garcia and Yuta for the ROH pay-per-view. I like how they're booking this ROH pay-per-view. They're not really doing too much on the body of Rampage and Dynamite. Just a few promos, just a few graphics. Kind of reminds me of how the UFC does it. Just show the graphics and let people get on social media and talk about it. They should have done something like this more for the Forbidden Door show. I think it would have helped out, because now even the Bucks talked about what happened on Double or Nothing. Swerve in Our Glory, they're still talking about stuff that kind of happened, a few weeks and weeks and weeks ago, because in the middle of all these AEW storylines, they had to put over the Forbidden Door storylines, and it doesn't look like they connect. People are still talking about Double or Nothing, which was 2 pay-per-views ago. But here is my ranking, the official ranking of all these matches from worst to first. Number 6, Gun Club and the Acclaimed versus Bear Country, Fuego del Sol, and Leon Russ. Caster wanted to cut a freestyle going down the ramp like he always does, but Austin Gunn takes the mic from him. Then, later on in the match, Caster goes up for the mic drop. Austin tags himself in before Caster can leap off the top rope just to get the 1, 2, 3 instead of Caster. The Acclaimed are like, what the fuck? But then they get attacked from the Gun Club and Billy Gunn. It looks like this short-lived faction, as fun as it was to see them come out, is no more. I don't know who are the Acclaimed going to get on their side for this 6-man feud, because right now it's 2 against 3. Number 5 out of 6, Butcher and Blade versus Swerve in Their Glory. Almost a little hometown pop for Butch here. He's from Buffalo real close to Rochester, but they do lose. Sit down powerbomb double stomp combo. 1, 2, 3. Swerve in Our victory. Get the victory. Swerve in Our Glory. Get the victory. Nyla Rose and Shafir versus Thunderstorm, a new tag team. This is number 4. Quick tags from the new team. Nyla and Storm. Nyla gets Storm on their side of the ring, but that leads to a Thunder Rosa hot tag. Running hip attack from Storm. 1, 2, 3. These ladies looking strong in their new team, but how long is this going to last? Thunder Rosa has the title. Toni Storm doesn't, so we're going to have to see where this goes. Number 3, Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. This was a fun match. American Top Team pretty much playing the role of the security guards from a few weeks ago. Lambert slaps Wardlow in the back. Top Team gets in between them. Sky gets the advantage from the distraction. American Top Team end up getting wiped out from Wardlow eventually. People are telling me, who are bigger MMA fans than I am, that these guys, no one knows who these guys are. I guess it's like the jabroni sect of American Top Team here. Wardlow hits a swanton, huge pop, power slam symphony, 1, 2, 3. We have a new TNT champion. Perfect guy to have the title. It seems like they didn't know what the hell to do with Scorpio Sky the entire time he had the title. That Sammy Guevara feud was ridiculous. Sammy Guevara moved on so quickly, and look at him in Blood and Guts. Look at how Ty Conti works well in the Jericho Appreciation Society. They should have just gone to that a long time ago. Number 2, the main event, Brody King versus Jon Moxley. Brawl on the outside of the ring. Solid match. When they get back in the ring, Mox had a hard time putting Brody away. Mox ends up choking out Brody King and, retains his interim AEW champion. First title defense here by Moxley. I think what hurt this match here was, besides the Battle Royal on Friday, this is like a less than 1 week build for Brody King. He was a lackey in a mid-card faction here with House of Black. I thought this was going to lead to maybe House of Black versus Moxley, where Moxley has to depend on Miro to help him out or something like that. But none of that comes to be. I mean, I guess he's a guy of a larger size. They want to get Moxley with some wins under his belt. But they did the same thing here with Lance Archer and Hangman Page when Hangman Page first won the title, and it kind of brought down the whole title reign, I think. A lot of guys are hurt. I get that, but this just seemed kind of forced with this Brody King thing. Maybe it shouldn't have been the main event. Maybe it should have been in the main card, and you should have had Wardlow, Scorpio Sky in that main event picture with Moxley coming out to kick off the show. But I'm nitpicking here. None of these matches were as good as the best match on the show, which was Pentagon versus Rush, in my opinion. I thought this match was great, but it did not seem like the reaction of the crowd, they didn't think it was that great, which is interesting to me. Drop kick off the top rope, senton off the top rope from Rush. 1, 2, Penta kicks out, package pile driver. 1, 2. Andrade puts Rush's foot on the rope to break up the pin. Ref is trying to get a hold of the match here. Rush pulls off Penta's mask. Roll up. 1, 2, 3. Rush gets the victory, acting like a real son of a bitch here. I really want to see more from this feud. I'm really stoked to see Andrade have something that kind of makes sense. I mean, the Andrade Hardy family office was the biggest thing that he did, and that was probably one of the worst factions of all time, made up by wrestlers that I liked, throughout the whole time. But it didn't make any sense. Butcher and Blade, Private Party, Matt Hardy had nothing to do with each other, and then to add to the randomness of that faction, they put Andrade and all of that. I can see Andrade not understanding what the hell is going on there, but here he has his old partner, he has his old faction back, and he's fighting, the Lucha Bros. This is huge here. I can see this going to AAA. I can see this going to AEW. This thing's got legs, goddammit. And this first match was the best match on AEW Dynamite this week. With that said, I'm gone, guys. As always, fly high. I'm out.